All right. Welcome, everyone. Um, Thank you. First of all, welcome to our, oops, we lost somebody and let me get them back in. Give them 1 second. Hopefully they can hear me. All right, here we go. Let's get started. Welcome to our Artificial Intelligence in St. Johns County School District. Um, Definitely, while you're here, if you have anybody in your session that has questions, my facilitators, if you can go ahead and do the same thing as the last session, put those in the chat. That was very helpful so that I could see them. Before I begin, I just want to say thank you to our media specialists for being in the room facilitating today. I think we have one person that's not a media specialist in there, but maybe they just signed in for their media specialist. But thank you all for being in the room facilitating when we can't be everywhere and all at once. We are a small team. I'm Diane Lawson. The other technology specialists are Tina Hemby and Allison Burball, and they're working with the secondary teachers this morning in a session at the same time. So um, one other thing I just want to mention, as I say thank you to those media specialists, just remember they're such a great resource at your locations, at your school. If you need additional information about MagicSchool or any other technologies, they're a resource right at your school location that you can reach out to and get some help immediately. They're wonderful people. They know a lot about books and things. They also know a lot about technology. So make sure you visit them when you need any assistance. This presentation is actually going to be posted on our technology tools and training website, which is on our Inside St. John's page. And I'm going to show you that towards the end of our presentation so you'll know exactly where it is. So let's get started. So today we're going to talk about AI guidelines. And then we're going to talk about St. Johns County School District approved AI tools, sorry. And then we're going to explore the MagicSchool teacher tools, which are some tools that are going to be built just for educators. And so I'm really excited to share those with you. And just a note, I do get excited about some of these things. So sometimes I go fast. So your facilitators are in the room. If you have questions, you need me to slow down, they're going to let me know. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about here is this wonderful document that is a student-facing document, the Guidelines for Generative Artificial Intelligence, or Generative AI. This was created as a student-facing resource so that it's clear and accessible, that to help students understand how to use AI responsibly in the school environment. It's built directly from the language in our district's acceptable use policies, which is our AUP, which students are required to read. We as educators are required to read it. So it's not just random, it was really aligned to that. And it reflects the expectations that we have in place already. It's just translated into something that is easy for students to understand and for them to apply. So you can see it has a very simple layout. It has the definitions at the top, and then it has 3 distinct sections. So we have that green section at the top, which is the good to go area. These are the green light uses. These are things like using district approved tools with teacher permission. So students shouldn't be using AI tools unless their teacher gives them direct permission, or exploring AI to support their learning, not replace their learning. So these are really important things. I like this third one, stay curious to learn about how to appropriately use generative AI. I think as we explore more and more about AI, it's going to begin to grow and evolve. And so students really need that curiosity to make sure they're staying on top of it as we do. The next section, that yellow section, is be cautious. It reminds students that AI can be biased, inaccurate, or outdated. So if they're unsure, they should ask questions. And this is a great critical thinking moment for them, and an area where they can go and ask for additional assistance. They can visit their teachers. Teachers and students can visit media specialists. They're really your digital literacy specialists. So this is a great time to call on them for help. And then that last section is the never section. These are those red flags. So students should not, may not use AI to complete assignments without documented permission. AI users should never, ever share personal information. Nothing that personally identifies me or a student should ever go into an AI chatbot or tool. Um, and no one should use AI in ways that breaks the rules or of the school, the district, or any laws that are out there. So as a teacher, it's really important that we're all on the same page about what's in this document because we, as the educators, are the ones that are helping students navigate these boundaries. So it was really designed to be that conversation starter, that place to kick it off with students and talk about the use of AI. This document is another great document. This is a teacher-facing document. So this is what teachers need to know. And this is a one-pager, a go-to resource for understanding AI, generative AI, and those district expectations that are in place in our district. So it defines what AI is. AI is that overarching, we've been using AI for years. Anybody use a spell checker? That's AI. GPS, every day. That's AI. And then generative AI is a subsection of that. And it's generative AI is creating something completely new. So those definitions are there. It gives some examples of AI and then some examples of generative AI. It gives some explicit directions about communicating with students when we're talking about AI, like adding it to your student expectations or the directions of an assignment. Setting those boundaries is one of the most important things that we can do as educators, making sure students know where they should use it and where they shouldn't, and having it in writing so there's no question about it later. Excuse me. And then having those conversations about ethical use. Um, we're not going to spend too much time on this today. It's designed for you to read and refer to. So if you have questions later, you can go back and look at it. Again, there's a link to it. So when we post the presentation, you'll have a link to that. We'll have it on our Tech Tools website, and your principals and administrators have copies of these as well. So as we move on, we recognize that students will have access to other AI tools outside of school. So we can control what's going on in the classroom, but outside of school, students are going to have access to AI tools. So it gives them even more opportunity to find answers to questions. And for example, this video here, students can use Snapchat as an AI chatbot. There's an AI chatbot built right into Snapchat, and all a student has to do is scan the document and ask AI for the answers. And actually, I don't even think um, they had to ask. They just scanned the document and the answers were given. So while we expect students to use those approved tools while they're in school, we need to recognize that they have other access to other tools outside of schools. And really, we need to have those conversations to make sure that they understand the implications. The next thing I want to talk about is this is a graphic from Matt Miller. He is the creator of Ditch That textbook, and he's been working on AI and other technology tools for teachers for years and years. And he has some great conversations about AI and what it looks like for students. So if a teacher wants to use AI in their classroom, they will need to think about areas where students may use AI and where they shouldn't, as well as modeling the good use of technology and AI. Keep in mind that in some classes or assignments, the line where cheating is drawn can be different. It all depends on the class, the assignment, and the expectations. So on this continuum at the bottom here, we have more human work. So students are doing all the work and AI is not doing anything. And at the very top, we have AI doing all the work. Well, we're probably not going to have AI do all the work, but somewhere in this continuum would be a place to draw that line. But that line might look different for different types of assignments, different types of classes. So If you're more likely to assign human focused tasks, you need to think about how you're going to avoid issues regarding AI. How are you going to explicitly teach students the skills they need? If you're assigning tasks where students are allowed to use the AI, how are you explicitly teaching the skills they need to be successful AI users? And starting with looking at what does that AI use look like? What's the learning target? Does using AI support the learning of that? Or does it inhibit it? And so drawing that line will depend on what it is you want your students to do. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is the generative AI tools that are in St. Johns County that have been approved for use. These are vetted and approved for district use. That means that they have signed student data privacy agreements. So they are ensuring that student data is going to be protected. So I'm going to save Magic School for the end, even though it's the first one, because we're going to be talking about that next. But I do want to point out we have Adobe Express for image generation. We have Reading Coach for fluency practice. This is one of our favorite new tools that's out there. You're elementary, but we do have Turnitin for plagiarism and AI detection in our high schools. And then we have Copilot as a chatbot for teachers and students. They do not have a student-facing side for K-12. So that is available for teachers and staff only. And then we have Magic School, which is available for teachers, staff, and students. And we'll go into that much more next. I do want to point out when we talked about, oops, when we talked about student data, we want to make sure if we as teachers are using an AI chatbot or tool that we aren't putting in personally identifying information for our students. Sometimes we accidentally put in things that we didn't mean to. If we put it into a chatbot like ChatGPT or Gemini, those systems are trained on anything that you put in. So if you're putting stuff in, it's training on that information. So that's why we want to be really careful. If we're doing work for school, we use a Copilot, which is has extra layers of protection because we're signed in with our district credentials, or we're using Magic School, which is the same. It has extra layers of protection because we have an enterprise um, account for both of those items. I forgot to ask this at the beginning. So facilitators in the room, I want to know by show of hands, do we have people in the room that have used chatbots, that have used AI, maybe some that have used Magic School? So just like in our last session, can you just kind of get a count, give me a thumbs up of if people in your session have used these tools before? I got a lot of thumbs up coming up here. This is great. I'm so glad. Excellent. So if you've used AI before, if you haven't, it's okay. We're going to just go through Magic School and what that looks like. If you've used Magic School before, you know how wonderful it is. If you haven't, I'm going to show you how wonderful it is. So let's move on to Magic School. Thank you for that. All right. So what is Magic School? Magic School is a new education-focused generative AI platform. It's not really new, but it's new to our district. That's available to all teachers and students in the district for the 25-26 school year. It offers over 80 AI-powered teaching tools that are designed to support educators with tasks such as rubric creation, lesson planning, differentiation, classroom management, so many things. We're going to go live in just a second. But one thing that's really important here that these tools were built specifically for educational use. So it's not a product that was built for something else and adjusted for education. It was built for educators. Um, one other thing that it has is it does have a student component. We're not going to talk about that today, but we do have information in our one of our fourth Wednesday AI courses. So if you're interested in that, you can join that course as well. But students can access Magic School through teacher-created student rooms. Teachers control which tools are available, customize those tools to align with the learning targets, and you're able to monitor all student interactions. So if you want a safe place for your students to interact with AI, Magic School can do that. But they can't go and access Magic School unless you create a room for them. So They're not just going out there and accessing tools. You would have to set it up for them. So the platform includes built-in safeguards. Teachers are notified if there's low engagement of students or inappropriate use. And if there's any mention of safety concern, you are immediately emailed on that so you can deal with those things. So now that I've talked about it, let's go look at it. And I'm going to get you guys in just a minute, but let me show you a couple of things and then I'll get you in. So when I first open up Magic School, you'll see this is the landing page. I land on Teacher Tools, and you can see I can scroll for a long time here, and that seems like a lot to me. So one way to bring that into a more manageable view is to use the categories option. Then I can look for the type of material that I am looking for. If I want student support, I can click on student support, and it brings it down to a little bit more manageable size of tools. Student engagement. I can sort that way. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but you can click the little star and that's favoriting it. So if you have some favorite tools, you can click on your favorites and all of your favorite tools will be right there. I do want to just say the best practice that I would use is to search for the type of tool you need. So looking for a writing tool, type in writing. Want help with lesson planning? Start typing in lesson planning. Because you can see here, I've got lesson plan, lesson hook, 5E model. I'm going to click on lesson plan because that's the tool I want to show you today. So we are going to go with the 7th grade option because I already have some prompts ready here. So you can change the grade level. Okay. My particular prompt has that standard in it and it's a 7th grade standard. So we're going to copy that and paste it here. And I am just starting with my standard. All I'm putting in there really is the standard, and then I've asked for objectives, activities, assessments, and necessary material. Now, if you start with a prompt and you think you need a better prompt, Magic School has you covered because there's prompt assistance right here. Whatever you put in, if you click prompt assistance, it will help you to make your prompt better to get what you want. The next section is additional criteria. Now, this is information about your particular classroom environment, your particular students. So if your students are into um, skateboarding or dance, you can put that information in here. I am going to put in that I want to ensure that the lesson plan incorporates a variety of interactive components, such as activities, discussions, and hand-on exercises to enhance student engagement. So I want to make sure those things are covered. So I want to put that in additional criteria. If you had a specific student who needed a specific intervention, you could put that here. You don't want to put the student name, but you can put what their needs are. And then the last thing here is I have the actual language from the standard. So you can copy that directly from the curriculum maps and put that in here. Another thing you can do is you can add files. So if I wanted to create a lesson plan based on a particular reading from the SAVAs or something in the curriculum map, you could download that PDF and you can upload it here to Magic School. You can upload it as a file from your computer. You can even take a screenshot of something, or you can upload from your phone. If I click upload from my phone, it's going to come up with a QR code. Let me just do that because it's really cool. And then with my phone, I would scan that to upload the picture. I could take a picture from my student textbook and upload it. It's going to be able to do that. So lots of different options here. Then once I'm ready, I have everything in here, I'm going to click generate. I haven't seen any questions, but facilitator, just let me know if I need to answer any questions. Okay, so here we go. It's giving me my learning objective, assessments, key points, opening, introduction to new material, guided practice, independent practice. It's giving me a closing, extension activity, homework, and it's giving me the standards that are aligned and the objectives that go with that. I do want to say here, you are the expert on your material. You're the expert on your classroom. So it's really important that you are using this as a starting point. This is what's starting you out. Um, we have so many things going on all the time. It's such a great assistance to have something laid out. And then you can download this into a Word document and adjust it to your needs. It's not going to know your class specifically, so you know that. We always talk about artificial intelligence and authentic intelligence, and you're the expert, so you need to use your authentic intelligence. Some things to point out about Magic School. It's going to give you some questions here that could further your lesson plan, make it better, add to it. You could copy this and paste it somewhere. You can export it right to a Microsoft Word document. You can edit it right in the platform or translate it. This comes in handy if you were if you were creating a passage for your students to read and you wanted to translate it into another language, you can do that here. And you can have it read aloud. Then the beauty of this, us having the district version, the enterprise version, is that I can now interact with this um, lesson plan tool. I have a follow-up question. I want it to create 3 centers for students. One that's individual work, one that can be completed with a partner, and the other that's engaging and hands-on. So I can put anything in here, and I'm going to click this button. I can also dictate it. So if I want to speak to this to ask for what I want, I can do that as well. So now it's going to create some centers for me. I've got the individual work, partner work, and hands-on activity. So these might be appropriate for your classroom. They might not, but that is where your expertise comes in. You could even ask for 3 more if those aren't what you want. Um, Lots of different options. So you also have the action tools here where you can create questions, you can adjust the length, you can summarize, or you can open up custom prompts and create your own custom prompt. You have differentiate, rewrite, um, automatically come with it. And then I've created a couple myself here. So I have talked for long enough, and I want you to get into Magic School now. So to get into Magic School, you are going to go to Clever. And our facilitators, our media specialists are in the room to help you. We did this training with them, so they know what they're doing if you need help, but also ask those questions if you need to. You're going to go to Clever, and then you will find the Magic School icon, and then it should automatically sign you in when you click on that icon. And then it might ask you to set up your profile. Go ahead and do that. Sometimes it gives you a little skip option, but I haven't seen that lately. So just set up your profile. It helps you to get more customized recommendations. If for some reason it doesn't log you in immediately, make sure that you click on that you're an educator and use the sign in with Microsoft because Magic School uses our Microsoft single sign on. So you'll want to use that option. If you don't see Magic School in your Clever, you can go to magicschool.ai, go to login, and then choose educator and choose sign in with Magic School. So I'm going to be quiet for 1 second. Facilitators, if you can give me a thumbs up when the majority of your people are signed in, that will be helpful. I'm getting some thumbs up here. Awesome. Thank you again for being there and facilitating and letting us know and helping other participants. That's wonderful. All right, I'm going to go on to the next slide. It looks like most everyone's getting logged in. So I'm going to go ahead and click over to our next slide. Remember when I went in there, we were looking at our teacher tools. You also have a chat bot here, which is kind of like how you would see a chat GPT or Copilot or Gemini. We're going to go into that in just a minute. And then here's that search bar and that filtering. So what we want you to do is we want you to choose a tool and then generate an output. So it can be any tool. Find something that might be interesting in your class. We did this with our media specialists who are there facilitating today, and we had some great outputs. We had some cool songs. So lots of different options here. So I'm going to be quiet and give you about 3 to 5 minutes to get in and try out a tool. Um, so try one of the teacher tools. Don't try Raina yet. Try one of the teacher tools. We'll come back to Raina. If there's any questions while you guys are working and getting in here, feel free to put those in the chat or unmute and ask those questions. Always great to see and hear people that I used to work with. Hey, Noreen, how are you? All right, it's been about 3 minutes. So if we need more time, let me know. If you're still working, that's fine. I'm going to show you a couple of things while you're working that you can do. Um, so you've gone in, you've chosen a tool. I showed you the action tools when I was in there, but just be sure that you know that you can continue to interact with that um, tool by putting another message in there. You can translate, you can use these action tools to do some other things. So you might want to try that. If you didn't put an additional question, make sure you try that so you can see what the additional output is going to give you. Um, that might be to add more, it might be to revise something, whatever your needs are. Again, you're the expert, so you're going to know what you need to put in there. And then copying or exporting your outputs. We looked at those. It does look a little different now. I don't know if you noticed on this last one, translate was an option in the actions previously. I love when I do a training and the slide has changed since I made it, but it's okay. The translate is now in here next to that export button. But if you click export, you can export to Microsoft Word. That is my preferred method because then I can go in and edit anything that I need to edit because as the expert, I need to go in and make adjustments as needed. All right, we're going to move on and talk about Raina because we are 16 minutes from the end of our time. So when we talk about using a chatbot, it's really important to be specific when we're prompting that chatbot. So the quality of your prompt directly impacts the quality of the output. So unlike a Google search, prompting an AI requires more structure and specificity. So to craft your effective response. You want to make sure that you are setting the role. So define the role. What do you want the AI to assume? How do you want it to act? What is the task that you want it to do? So you need to define the task you want that AI is going to do. So when we did our lesson plan, we said it was 7th grade. We asked it to create a lesson plan for that specific standard. And then you want to add any important details. We did that in the lesson plan tool, and we added those additional criteria for what we wanted. So when you do prompting in a chat bot, it is very similar. Magic School is great because the tools really are scaffolded, so you don't forget any information. But if you prefer to use a chatbot, you can. The chatbot in Magic School is Raina. And we do not have a lot of time left, so I want to make sure we get through everything. So if you want to go ahead and try Raina, I'm going to talk about and show a couple of other things. But right here, if you're in and you want to try Raina, go ahead. Right here is what Raina looks like. It's going to give you that area to prompt. So you want to make sure you define the role, the task, and add those details, the RTD. And then you'll just hit the enter or that purple button when you're ready for it to give you what you want. I'm going to go into the live version of this and go to Raina. So here's Raina the chatbot. It's also one of the teacher tools, so you may have seen it there. So I'm going to I would put in my prompt here, and then I would, once I enter it, then I would click the purple button here or just hit enter. I do want to point out a couple of things that Raina has. Right here at the bottom, it has 3 options. The first one is fastest. So we've got fastest, which is a quick answer for everyday teaching. And then we've got smartest, which is going to be in-depth support for complex tasks. And then thinking, which is deep reasoning and critical analysis. So just be aware that that's there. For most of your needs, it's probably just going to be okay to leave it on fastest. But I love that this is here if we want something that's more um, deep and critically thinking. The other thing I want to talk about is this web search button. Any AI chatbot is trained to a specific date, and that's the cutoff date for the knowledge of that chatbot. So ChatGPT, for example, might be, I don't know what the actual date is, but it might be trained up to January of 2025. Well, you're not going to get anything after January of 2025 because it hasn't been trained on that information. So if you wanted something that was current, ChatGPT is not going to be your best bet because it's not trained up to today. Most chatbots are like that. They're trained to a certain date and you won't get anything more current than that date. What Magic School did is they added a button here called web search. So if what you're looking for is more current, you can use that web search option and it will give you more current information. So that's a great part of this tool. So, and they also have that same little attachment option here where you can upload from your phone or files on your computer. I do want to point out that when you use Raina the chatbot, any of your output history is going to be up in this top right-hand corner. So any chats you have using Raina are going to come here. Any of your teacher tools that you use, which is what we did first, that output history will be where the output history is. So just want you to know that there's 2 different places to find those outputs. Teacher tools going to be output history. Your Raina chatbot is going to be in the Raina chatbot option. Okay. Then I do want to point out, we're not talking about student rooms, but if you want to know more, again, we have our 4th Wednesday course. But if you come in the Magic student section, you'll click on resources here, and you have some different videos that you can look at here. Any additional training you want, there's a question mark right next to your name, and they have a bunch of PD resources. So if you're interested in learning more, there's plenty for you to be able to access. All right, we are 11:04. I've got just enough time to finish out. You will also see in the bottom right corner, there's a little chat icon. If you click on that, there's some more resources for you. You can send it a message. You can get help. Excuse me. And there's a live person at the end of that to give you help. Excuse me. get a drink real quick. Um, so that's a great option. Now, for the next 5 minutes, hopefully you're there with people in the same grade level or even your team. So we want you to take 5 minutes and explore the other Magic School tools and make sure that you think about what your top three tools would be that you really want to investigate. Or if you've been using Magic School, what are your top three tools that you've used so far? And think about how any of the tools might benefit you and your work as a PLC. So I'm going to be quiet for about 4 minutes, and then we're going to come back. I have one more slide, and then we'll get you going. So take about 4 minutes to talk about that with your group. And again, facilitators, if there's any questions, plop them in the chat, unmute, let me know what's going on. Happy to help and talk about anything else that I have missed. And facilitators, while they're doing that, I would love to know how many people are in your session this time. So if you want to plot that in the chat, that would be great. All right, we are just about out of time. I'm going to just show you a couple of things while you're still working as a team. I'm going to move on to our last slide. We are going to ask you to complete this survey in just a second. It's only 2 questions. Don't worry, we're not taking too much of your time. But I do want to show you our technology tools and training website. So I have this bookmarked, but I want to show you where it is. It's on the Inside St. John's page. So I mentioned at the beginning of our session that I'm going to be posting the PowerPoint on our technology tools and training website. So if you log in to Inside St. John's, you'll see that parent square frequently asked questions. And right under it, it's technology tools and training. That is our website where we post training materials, help materials, anything you want to know about the platforms that we are using in our district. You should be able to come here and find that. You see there's one for Magic School. There's also one for Reading Coach. So if you are interested, we had some people in that last session interested in that. Reading Coach is on here as well. So these are all here for you. We're going to be adding a new tab here for training materials. We already have our technology newsletters from last year. And then there's some videos that you can watch as well. So also textbooks. If you are needing help with your textbooks, your digital textbooks, we've got that on here as well. Um, so make sure you check that out and we will post that. I do want to go back over here. It is 11:10. Hopefully you've had some time with your team to look at different tools in Magic School. and see some that might be helpful for you, for your students. I hope that you check out those student rooms. Um, Join our fourth Wednesday course. It's an AI course. So I know everybody's got different stuff they need to take care of, but if you're wanting to learn more, that's a great place to do it. If you will, please scan the QR code and just answer those two questions. The first question is, what are the top 3 tools that you can see yourself using? And the second question is, what questions do you have about AI? We are not there with you in person, so this is the way that we're going to find out what questions people have. And we're working on AI all the time and thinking about how best to provide training and information to the district. So we want you to really ask those questions. Let us know, what are you thinking? What questions do you have? um, because we can't be there. And I know our media specialists are going to give us some great information, and we're so thankful to them for being there with you today when we can't be. So we appreciate all of you attending. We appreciate them for helping. Um, a lot of appreciation going on. And thank you for sharing numbers. All those people who put numbers in the chat for how many people are there. That's great. I really appreciate that. Um, And if you guys have any questions, let us know. So as soon as you finish your survey, you're free to go. And facilitators, if there's any questions as people are leaving, let me know. Happy to answer those. I know we had a couple in the last session, so. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your training day and that you're getting to collaborate with some great colleagues out there at your locations. Thank you guys for being here.